Hi guys, I thought I would jump on and talk a little bit about this week's content. It's to do with the all day bloat, and you might not know what that means, or you might, but this is when you kind of wake up in the morning and you have a flat tummy, and then throughout the day it kind of builds and builds and builds until you feel like you're about 6 months pregnant. You feel so bloated. So, I'm the women's naturopath. I'm Karen Saunders. I work with women to overcome their digestive and hormonal issues because they're always linked. This week's content, we go into something that I'm seeing a lot of in clinic recently, and I'm not sure if it's to do with the extended lockdown that we've been in Melbourne, or just the fact that we had a bit of a crazy year. But I'm seeing a lot of this kind of long all-day bloating symptoms combined with some sort of stress, anxiety, low mood, depression, and worry. And when I see this pattern, I'm always thinking about the gut-brain connection, as opposed to something like SIBO or food intolerances or leaky gut or parasites, which it might be. But I just wanted to come on and talk about this because I think a lot of you may be experiencing it, and certainly this will happen for everybody from time to time. And it's easily overcome with some lifestyle and some habits that you can put in. So have a listen. I've also written a bit more extensively on this in this month's content, and I haven't created an ebook or anything, otherwise I'd be giving myself my own gut issues. But I have written a blog on this with a bit more information than I'll share today, and also with some more in-depth treatment strategies that you guys can implement yourselves. So to get access to that, go to the link in bio if you're on Instagram. That'll take you to my website, karen-saunders.com, where you can sign up and you'll get that content sent to you. Otherwise, I'll just chat a little bit about it now. And the all-day bloat combined with some mood issues, or like some stress or some anxiety, or if you're a person who has gut issues and you also have some sort of anxiety or depression, this could be down to the gut-brain axis, or most likely is. And I'm not going to go into mood issues too much at the moment. I'm more going to talk about the bloat, but I'm just going to touch on the fact that your gut can significantly affect your mood. So we know that now there is a bidirectional communication between the brain and the gut. We used to think it was top down, but actually it's both ways. In fact, some research is saying that up to 90% of the communication between the gut and the brain actually goes from the gut to the brain and not the other way around. And this goes via the vagus nerve. So that's pretty fascinating, that amount of input that's coming from the gut into the brain. And also that in the digestive tract, obviously we've got lots of bacteria, and they can produce and consume neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are molecules, or signaling molecules that human bodies use in the nervous system. So our gut bacteria can actually produce these, and for example, serotonin. So serotonin is our feel-good neurotransmitter. It helps us feel happy and safe and feelings of well-being. And it also helps to promote the peristaltic movement in the small intestine. So it helps the motility of the gut. And we know that 95% of our serotonin is sitting in the gut, and our gut bacteria can produce it. So obviously we want lots of lovely bacteria that can produce that for us. So if we have had lots of antibiotics or stress or the wrong food or diet choices, we're going to be deficient in that. So that's one way that our guts can affect our mood. And we know for a fact that IBS sufferers are quite often more likely to experience anxiety and depression and mood disorders that go along with that. So it's not just a gut issue. Now, there's more information on that in my blog, but I'd just like to move on to the more functional issues of bloating. So when you see a lot of gut patients, like I do, you start to notice a pattern. Like all patients that come in with gut issues have some type of bloating or some form of bloating. And when I see this slow build of a bloat, I'm always thinking gut brain. And I remember sitting at uni, and some of my uni mates might be listening to this as well, but you know what I mean. We used to sit there after lunch or after breakfast, and we'd be taking notes, and we'd be concentrating, and we'd be like fully into things, and we would all, by the end of the day, start to like feel these like cramps and get super bloated and have to undo our belts. I mean, I remember just actually starting to wear like loose clothing by the end of it because I was getting so bloated and I didn't know what the hell was going on, and obviously now I do. So now this all comes down to the nervous system and what type of nervous system we are in at that time. So we have different branches of the nervous system, so different modes, if you will, of the nervous system. And we have a few, but let's just touch on the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. Right, so the sympathetic nervous system is our fight and flight nervous system. We are in our SNS, sympathetic, when we are busy running around. We could have emotional stress. We could be chased by a saber-toothed tiger, which is why it was invented in the first place. We could just have a busy morning, like trying to get the kids to school and trying to get all of our things done. So there's many reasons why we're in that, or we have a deadline or whatever. This is our fight and flight nervous system, all right? And when we're in the SNS, it's our bodies shunt blood and resources away from the gut and away from the reproductive tract, and shunts it to the muscles and the brain and the heart, because like we're going to have to run away, right? We've got to be on alert. We've got to react really quickly. Now our body's like, we don't need to digest food right now, and we don't need to make babies. So it switches off the nutrients needed for the digestive tract, and this has profound effects. Profound, especially if you're doing this day in and day out, meal after meal. It means that we're not getting our digestive system is dialed down. We're not producing the hydrochloric acid that we need in the stomach. We're not producing the digestive enzymes from the pancreas or the small intestine brush border, and so we are not prepared to eat food. We do not have the chemicals and the molecules that we need to break down and assimilate our nutrients. Now imagine this happens day after day, week after week, because we're all creatures of habits, right? We eat at our desks, we're talking, we're having a meeting, we're stressed and eating. This happens day after day. That means you could have the most amazing diet in the world. You could have organic food and, you know, from shipped in from Fiji, whatever. You could have the best food possible, but you won't be absorbing your nutrients. So what happens then is that food just sits in your stomach, sits in your small intestines. It just sits there, and the gut bacteria aren't able to kind of break this down either, or ferment it or use it that well. And we end up getting really bloated. We get cramps as a result. And this will kind of build throughout the day. So how can we get around that? Well, we really want to be in parasympathetic nervous system when we're going to eat. So our parasympathetic nervous system's other name is the rest and digest nervous system. And it's pretty easy to activate that. When we're in parasympathetic nervous system, we are relaxed and we're ready, and the body is able to receive food, to break it down, to produce the acids and the enzymes that we need to actually receive that food. So there's certain things that we can do to induce the parasympathetic nervous system, and these are just some habits that you can include before your meals. Like, it doesn't have to be a big production. Please head over to my website and my blog for a few more suggestions and strategies. I'm just going to touch on 3 here, but yeah, please do head over there. It's really important information for you guys. So okay, 3 the ways that we want to induce the parasympathetic nervous system and reduce bloating is, first of all, we want to get into that rest and digest nervous system. And This can be as easy as taking 6 deep breaths before we eat. So just taking some long, deep breaths right down into the hips and out. And you'll start to feel the salivary glands start to tingle, the body let go and relax. And when that happens, salivary glands tingle, they kind of signal to the stomach to start producing hydrochloric acid, and to the small intestines to start producing enzymes, and start to light that digestive fire, or agni that they call it in Ayurveda. We want that strong agni digestive fire to absorb our nutrients. Second thing that you can do is to, if you know that you're going to be eating on the run or at your desk that day, or if you're stressed, have some food that's already partially digested, like a smoothie, a soup, a stew. Cooked foods, warm foods, they're already partially digested. Bit of a band-aid hack is to actually take hydrochloric acid or take digestive enzymes. Obviously, it's better if you don't rely on these things, but sometimes they're necessary. So you can actually take these in supplement form, and I use very specific high quality practitioner ones, and that will actually help you digest your food, like you're using the same enzymes and you're taking them in supplement form. So that really does help for a lot of people. The other thing I want to touch on is bitter herbs, bitter taste. Now the bitter taste switches on digestion. It's such a forgotten, important taste. It's not popular, and I see why, but if you can reframe it, when we have bitter foods and herbs, you feel that that kind of like tingling sensation in the salivary glands, and that's what's going to get your whole digestive tract going. It signals to the stomach and intestine to start producing those enzymes. So we're inducing parasympathetic and relaxing into it, and then we're giving ourselves some extra enzymes and herbs to increase that digestive fire. The other thing I just want to touch on quickly is drinking while you're eating. So I mean, the amount of people I remember I grew up as a kid, and I just used to down glasses of Nesquik and water with my food. I used to end up with a stomach ache. But when you're taking a lot of water or liquids in, especially if it's cold, or soda or beer or anything like that, you're actually diluting the digestive enzymes and acids. So diluting your digestive fire, essentially. So this doesn't mean that you don't drink at all during your eat. You can sip some warm liquids, like a little bit. But do try to wait sort of 20 minutes before and after your meals to have anything kind of larger than half a cup. I think I'll stop there. There's some mind-body stuff and some other tips and tricks in my blog, so really do head over there. It really helps to educate yourself. Your body is just doing the best that it can to cope with circumstances. So if you learn to decipher what your body is saying and what it's needing, you can give it to yourself, and you can heal yourself. So head on over to that. I'm of course happy to help if you need some extra guidance in this. I mean, bloating could be from so many things, from SIBO to a parasite, to leaky gut, which I've talked about a lot in September content. But if it's as simple as needing to get in the parasympathetic nervous system, do it. I'm happy to help. Book an appointment or a discovery call with me. Send me an email. Let me know if you like this content. I'm not great at sharing myself on Instagram. I'm trying to get better at it, so let me know if you like this. Anyway, lots of love, and wishing you a happy bloat-free gut. Bye now.